All righty, all righty. All right, Dillo, thank you so much for being on 40 Seconds with 4.0. 40 Seconds with 4.0 is just like a platform for people to come on and tell their stories and, share things that other people didn't know. And it doesn't matter if you're a famous producer, engineer. It doesn't matter if you're a singer, rapper, whatever the case may be. We're just glad to have a platform where people can come and do their thing.
I would appreciate that. And shout out to you for giving people like us a platform to talk to people through. So that's really dope. And I appreciate, I always appreciate when people show love to us behind the scenes guys, because we're not talked about that much. But the fact that you reached out and we get to tell our story, that's super fire. So thank you again, 4.0, for this.
Oh, you ain't gotta thank me. You my homie, my friend. So that goes way back. You know what I'm saying? I
Of
definitely
course.
um I wrote a little bio for you, and it was funny. You just said something that kind of crossed my mind, but I'm gonna go back to it. And you said behind the scenes, and I just want to let you know, like, if it wasn't for you, if it wasn't for a DJ playing what you're producing or mixing or engineering, I wouldn't have a job. I wouldn't have anything to play. So
Right.
you are not behind the scenes. Like, you are for you low key the show. I ain't even gonna.
I appreciate that. Wow, I appreciate that. But no, I mean, it takes I mean, not to jump the gun or anything, but it takes a whole team to do all of this. Like, there is no such thing as one person just being that it factor and just, doing everything and controlling it. No, there's a DJ, there's an engineer, there's a producer, there's a musician, there's a songwriter. It just goes. There's lighting, guys, video. We can go all day. Makeup artist, da 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 da. Like, we can go all day. So it does take a team. It does take the behind the scenes people to put the people in front of the camera on where they're at. You know what I'm saying? And yeah,
Exactly.
and we're all part of it. It's not just one person. You know what it is.
No,
I
for
just like
sure.
I don't like when people hype me up so much. It's like I don't know what to do.
Man, you better enjoy it, Dillo. You deserve your flowers. Like, you've worked
I
so
appreciate
long. So, like, I'm gonna go ahead and say your bio. So,
it. Okay.
all right, y'all. I got Chef Dillo, or as known as I call him, Dylan. He's one of my
Yeah.
favorite famous music producer friends. This
Oh
curly head cool kid known as Real Deal, formerly known as Real Deal, is from
wow.
Third Ward, Texas. Chef Dillo is a young innovator in the hip hop industry. Hip hop isn't just something like a word for Dillo. Dillo breathes success by not giving up and staying hot in this industry. Dillo has been in the industry for about 10 years. With blood, sweat, and tears, Dillo has been able to produce, engineer, mix for celebrities like Wayne, Tyga, YG, Gunna, worked with Manny Fresh, worked with Scott Storch, Young Boy. I mean, everybody that you can think of, Dillo has had been able to touch him and touch them in some way with his producing skills. Dillo is definitely the real deal. So, welcome to 40 Seconds with 4.0, Chef Dillo.
Wow. Wow. Greatest intro I've ever heard.
I,
4.0. Can I buy that from you?
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I was
I
in this.
need to buy that intro from you. Oh my gosh. Every time I walk in a room, I need you saying it just like my, oh yeah. Thank you for that.
No, I told
Yo,
you I was trying to write something up. You
that's fire. I need that in a website. I need that in my like everything.
see,
On
I
my tombstone, that's what it needs to say. Exactly like that.
see you hype me now. Don't hype.
Nah, that was so dope. Thank you, 4.0. I thank you for having me. Yeah, this is fire. I'm already enjoying this. We barely started the conversation.
No, for sure. It's funny because we're just laughing. It's funny. Like, this is really how you are on a everyday. Do
For
do
real.
people think you're like have you ever had anybody like starstruck, like, oh my gosh, Dillo, can I come hang with you? Like, how do you
Uh,
think that?
man, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's starstruck, but I do have people who want to like hang out with me and like chill in the studio, this and the third. The problem is I don't like that. Like, I don't like extra bodies in the studio who aren't like, you know what I'm saying? If you're not productive and especially with like Corona going on, all that kind of stuff, it's like all the extra bodies who aren't doing anything. You just want to hang out in the studio and get faded and yell over my music. It's like, oh my, I can't do it. I'm not that type of person. I do appreciate all the people who do come up and they're like, I have a lot of guys, like engineering guys, who come up to me and they're like, "Yeah, man, I record myself now," and they've done all this, that, and the third, just watching
Right.
my story. And I always appreciate those guys, and I will give them the opportunity, of course, come to the studio and like learn and like ask me questions and sit in on sessions, see how I operate and run my business. Like I love showing those guys, but there are like sometimes where just random people coming out of nowhere, like, "Oh, I want to come party with you in studio," blah blah blah. I'm like, we don't party, we don't like. It's not what you think it is. We work hard. Like I'm staring at a computer for 12 hours a day, not talking to anybody, not looking at my phone. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm working hard. This is a lot of people think it's lit. A lot of people think I got like 10 models in the studio. It's a bunch of rich rappers and there's money getting thrown around. Like you gonna reach up and grab $100 bill or something like people think it's some crazy dream. And it's like, nah, we work hard just like a job. Just like you go to your job and you focus for 8 hours and you knock out the work and you make sure nobody
Yeah.
bothers you and nobody distracts you and your friends ain't there and all that. You're not turning up and partying. I mean, I do have the luxury of doing what I get to do, and I do get to party a little bit more than the average employee does or the average worker,
Right.
but it's still work. It's still like we got to get something done. We have to get this record done. It has to be a lot of focus. You know, there's a lot that goes into it. So I don't know if I tracked off too far, but
No.
it's tough getting people in the studio. I love having the fans and stuff like that, but just know it's no hate from Dillo's side. Dillo's just a hard ass worker, and that's all I'm
No,
worried
Willow
about.
got tunnel vision.
Yeah, I'm so tunnel vision. It's crazy.
No, I already know that. Like so for some of the people like who don't know you, how did you get your start? Like how did it
Um,
happen? How did Real Deal come and then, Chef Dillo come? Like what happened? Did you look up to anybody? Like did you say, "Hey, I want to be just like so and so later on?" Like what happened?
huh. So this is crazy. I've never ever told this version of the story.
Okay.
I always told people I had no inspiration. I always tell people that when my parents asked me to move out, I had moved in with somebody and they were doing music and whatnot, and I got inspired off of them. But the real story, I'm gonna give it to you first, is my dad used to be a live sound engineer as a kid.
Okay.
My dad was a live sound engineer in the Indian community. He was super popping. He used to bring all the celebrities out. Like I've met all the famous celebrities from India and stuff like that. So I was kind of raised in this, but I never ever told that part of the story because my family doesn't want me to do this. It's like
Exactly.
my dad grew up being a sound engineer. He figured it out on his own. He didn't even go as hard as I did as far as going to school, getting an internship, learning and
Right.
mentor, you know what I'm saying, being a mentee to people. And so it's like I never understood why they just didn't want me to learn. So but now that I've made it where I have and I've seen the success and I know really where it comes from, I got to give shout out to my pops. You know what I'm saying? We don't see eye to eye, but that man is where I get it from because he did what I did growing up. That's where I learned from. I've been doing audio since I was like 7 years old. I just don't tell people that because I didn't want to give my pops the credit. So that's where it comes from. You know, I've been breaking down gear, been setting shit up, I've been met celebrities my whole life, and that's where it came from. It's just I didn't know my dad did live sound. I just took it to the studio. I do the studio side of it. I don't do live sound. I hate live sound actually because there's no undo button. So
Exactly.
if you mess up in live, that paycheck's getting cut.
Exactly.
If I mess up in studio, nobody will know. I'll be like, oh, undo. Nobody. Oh, you didn't hear
No,
that.
for real. Okay. So I
So
I didn't know that though. I didn't know that your dad was like in live sound. I mean, it's still literally the same thing, just different.
right.
Just live in studio, but I never knew that. And so
No,
um
nobody know unless you're Indian, because that's what everyone in the Indian community knew my dad for. He was doing live sound, and he always used to bring like a celebrities and people out from India. But unless you're Indian, you won't know that because I don't tell people. I don't know. It was a hate thing. It's a bad thing in me. Like I had a lot of hate and animosity towards my parents when I first started because they could have literally gave me everything I wanted to make this engineering thing pop. But the smartest thing they ever did was not give it to me
yeah,
because I would have been a
hard.
spoiled little brat. I would have
Yeah,
been like a piece of, I would have been a, not to cuss. I would have been a spoiled kid when it came to audio engineering. I wouldn't have been humble and struggled and, had to learn how to make this myself, you know?
And that's
And
true. It's funny that you say that. Like it's funny that you actually say that. My dad, he was I don't know what exactly he did, some type of something, but he was in the music industry, and so
hmm
his record is over here. Like literally, it had my dad used to produce or something like that, and so this is back in the day. Like my dad had his own, like he used to produce.
hold up.
And
Your
so
dad has vinyls.
no, for
Wow.
sure. And so it says his name right there, executive produced. And
I've
so
never I've never heard this record, but I need it. What's this called? Can I get the
this,
info on this?
this is called, and so I tell my everybody all the time, like my dad was the original Bad Boy Entertainment, the Bad Boys Records. And so
Really?
I have it. When I tell you 1990 Bad Boys Records with two Z's at the end in Fort Worth, Texas. I have the whole thing. And this is his this was called Players Incorporated Do It My Way Freakaholic. So ain't no telling what they was doing back in the day.
Let's go, Pops.
Right.
Let's
And
go.
so but I never really knew that. And I don't know where it came from when I started DJing. So it's funny that you say, like, I'm glad that I didn't really know that because I worked hard.
Right, you're right. At the end of the, I mean, and it's also how you're raised too. I'm sure you would have worked hard regardless if you knew he did it or not. Just like, you're probably like me in the sense of like you want to earn everything you have. You're
Sure.
not looking for the handout. I don't want nobody to just be like, here you go, I'm gonna put you on. No thanks. I'm gonna make sure y'all respect me for my work, not because somebody said I'm okay. No thanks. Nah, you're gonna respect the work. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
at the end of that's where it comes from. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like you said, our people could have put us on. Our people could have just literally just paid our way through the industry, but because
Mhm.
they didn't, because we didn't seek that route, that's why we're more respected at what we do.
Yep. And I actually had that being the next question. Was your family supportive of your music career aspirations?
No, ma'am.
Of course, you just said it like, oh no, like, what did they want you to be? Oh, Dillo, where'd you go?
I'm sorry. Tiger's engineer just called me.
Did you answer the phone?
No, I declined him for you. You all right?
For me?
I got a session with Tiger tomorrow, so he's calling me about that. We're good. It's already locked in and ready.
Okay, let me hear you up. I'm so lit. Okay.
No. We're taking our time. I got you. I set this time aside for us. Don't worry about that. I
Oh,
got you, 4.0.
Dillo.
No, that's the hey look, I try to tell people this is the benefit of being your own boss. Nobody tells me what to do. I do what I want.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, well, see, I'm not getting famous phone calls like that. But
Whatever. Whatever. You being modest, you probably do. You probably get some crazy phone calls. You just don't tell people about it.
ain't nobody calling me unless they want a DJ. Like,
That's
okay,
what I'm saying. Nobody's calling me because they want to just talk to me. They're calling me for work. They're just like,
this is true. This is true. You're right.
no, nobody gives a damn about me. I mean, nobody cares about me at all. They're like, hey, can you come engineer? That's the only reason they call me. Can you come record?
That's it. You're right.
Yeah.
We. How important is your peace? Like, do you ever get peace?
Peace, as in
Just
like
time to yourself and relaxation and
yeah, but I don't know. I don't want that. I kind of want my family back. I want my like I was a family kid. I grew up with my family my whole life. So when I was 18, 19, and my family said, okay, we're done with you, I got like a whole life shock. Like, what? How do you grow up with family for? I only had family for 18 years, and then they said, no more family. Go figure it out by yourself. So it's like nowadays I'm super solo. I don't like to family is my assistant and my videographers and my artists now. Like that's my family nowadays. That which is kind of sad to me. So hopefully when I get back to that I'll find peace. But no, there is no peace right now. This is straight. I'm on a like I said tunnel vision warpath almost. Like not trying to prove to anyone anything, but more to prove to myself like cool, you can go to the top of the world and then I don't know, and then you'll figure it out from there.
no, you're right. And I don't want to like bother and get in your business. Um,
No, go for it.
how do you feel like you'll ever get to just, do you talk, have you talked to them? You
They
haven't
won't
talked?
talk to nah, they won't talk to me. I think my this was crazy. I think my mom just found out what I did. Like I think my mom just found out like what
That
I
you did?
actually did. Like I'm doing hip hop music. I meant like doing big shit, blah blah blah. And after she found out, like phone calls stopped, all the texting stopped, all everything. Like
Man,
it's tough. Like people sit here and complain about like people not supporting them in music, and I'm like, you don't know shit. You
yeah,
don't know nothing. You don't know nothing. You want to, what are you complaining about? I'm
no.
on top of the world and I can't get my people to support me. So what are you talking about right now?
Oh my goodness. So like, what did they wanted you to do? They want you to be like a doctor or something?
Of course, my first name is Dylan. My last name is Rajan. I was predestined with the initials doctor. I was me and my brother. My brother, my younger brother, has a doctorate in pharmacy right now. He just
Wow.
graduated with his doctorate. So it's like, now shout out to Dale, my younger brother. He's a very smart kid. You know what I'm saying? He wanted that lifestyle. That's what he's comfortable with. He was cool with it. That's what you're supposed to do if you're cool with it. But if you're not cool with it, go do what you're supposed. Go do what you want to do. Make sure you're successful and then don't worry about anything else, regardless of what your parents say, regardless of what anybody says. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at right now. It's like it is kind of dangerous because at this point I'm just like, I'm not kind of worried about anyone. I'm just shooting for the moon. So
Yeah,
like I'll leave people behind. If I'll leave people behind quick. If you're not with my program, if you're not like ready to hustle as hard as I am, boom, I'm gone. Forget you. See you.
exactly.
And it's kind
Exactly.
of dangerous because like not everybody operates like that. And if
Right.
you want to be a helpful person, you have to slow down and wait for people. But at this point, it's like, cool. I don't know what else to look for. If my family's not rocking with it, I'm going for the moon and I'm going as fast as I can.
Exactly. Exactly. And I see this hustle like now, and I didn't even know that. Just me, us being friends, I didn't know that.
I don't
And
talk about it. I don't. It's like what I just told you. Like even people like me saying that my dad was my inspiration. I've never said that in my life, ever, 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 ever in my life. This is the first time I ever said that. But it's because I'm starting to realize I have to be. At the end of the day, I'm real, so I have to give people the credit where it's due. And
no,
because of where I'm at, it's like, all right, cool. I can't just run around and say that I got inspiration from out of nowhere. No, I got it from him. That's what it was. They didn't support it, but at the end of the day, we're gonna run with it.
exactly. No, I get it. That kind of brings me to like my next question. Do you feel like your culture is represented in hip hop? Do you feel like you're gonna change it? Do you feel like because I mean you're brown skinned. We look like we could be sister and brother if I was a little bit more
Yeah.
lighter, you know?
What you mean? We do come from the same situations. We do come from like if we took the world back historically, I'm sure we come from the same continent that just broke up. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure
Exactly.
we come from the same place.
Exactly.
Um, as far as my culture being in it, there's too much of my culture faking your culture. That's the problem. So
Mm,
that's what I'm going through right now. I got Indian kids coming up. I got Indian kids with parents who are rich out of this world catching murder cases, catching pimping cases,
what?
catching this drug cases, da da da. Indian kids. And this is because they want to be the biggest rat. They listen to Nav and they listen to all these motherfuckers. And so this is my thing right now. Like there's too many kids faking this shit in the
Yeah.
Indian community. So many kids hit me up every day, like, man, I want to be the next rapper. I want to be the next rapper. Let me hear your music. Zanny this, Zanny that, da na 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 na
That's
na.
not you.
Shut the hell up, bro. I know
Yeah.
your mom and dad. Your mom and dad rich as shit. What you
Yeah.
mean, Zanny this, Zanny that struggle? Like, oh my God, it's like no, I don't support any Indians in the hip hop community. I really don't. Like where they at? Show me what you really going through. Check this out. Not to I don't want to put it out there like that. My a church I used to go to back in the Gap, Indian church, right? Took my black friends there to play basketball. We had this brand new gym. Of course, I'm the only kid who brings other races around. But what happens when you bring other races around? You get shit on. So, oh, hey, your two homies got to go. They got to leave. They didn't sign any waivers to play basketball. I'm like, what? It's because they had tattoos and stuff, right? So they didn't sign a waiver to play basketball here. I was like, not one of us here signed a waiver. Not
Right.
nobody here signed a waiver. So if they gotta go, we all gotta go. You know what I'm saying? So it's like those same people who treated me like that back in the Gap are the same people posting black squares on Instagram talking about this,
Black
that, and the third. They stand with, oh my, I'm so sick. 4.0, you don't even know. I'm so sick of my community, you don't even know. And I'm not trying to be that asshole, but it's like,
oh,
bro,
you know,
y'all exiled me for living with black people and doing rap music and doing what I do. Y'all literally exiled me. Y'all blacked me out of the community. Y'all said I was gonna be a bum. I'm supposed to be in jail. I'm a drug dealer in the Indian community. I'm a big ass drug dealer apparently. So that's what I'm known as in the Indian community. Why? Because I know black people. Oh, okay, for sure. That's cool. I let them. Man, fuck it, fuck y'all. And I walked out. But now what? 8 years later, it's oh, Black Lives this. We gotta post the black squares and black people did this. And shut the. Y'all are so white. Is crazy.
no, for sure. I never thought of it like that.
Because
And
you don't live in it.
right,
I
you,
lived in it. Why you
you,
think I do? I'm like, why you think you never met an Indian person around? I don't even hang out with Indian people no more. It's so it's fake. It's fake.
that's good.
Until they get their shit together, you can get the fuck on from around. I don't care. Oh
And
my God.
it's good that you calling it out, though. You know, you calling it like it is.
Oh, I've been calling it out, but nobody wanted to listen to me. Everybody called me the ignorant idiot. I used to be the stupid one. Oh, you're the stupid one. You're the idiot. He's the one going to jail. I'm the drug dealer. Remember, I'm the one hanging out with black people. I'm supposed to be the worst of the worst. But now I'm on top. I'm making more money than all these college kids. What the
Yeah.
hell? All of a sudden, it's oh, black people this. Oh yeah, yeah, black lives matter. I'm like, bro, y'all are so fake. Like it's cool. Like definitely support it, but don't be fake about it. Don't do it because you're scared to get like criticized by like you're like people are doing it for the wrong reason. People are
Exactly.
doing it because they don't want to be known as the racist white people. They don't want to get thrown in that group because they used to be those people back in the day.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Uh,
And it's funny that you would. Well, I had a question over here talking about the protest that you went to with, if I'm not mistaken, with YG.
with G,
And how was that? Like, how was that moment bringing all
check this
the
out.
cultures together? How was that?
Craziest thing I ever experienced in my life because you know what was the craziest part about it? They said I think it was over 50,000 people showed up, or maybe
Yeah.
it's over 50,000 people showed up. The police called his management the next day and they thanked YG. They said thank you because there were no incidents, there was no type of complaints or anything like that. It was the most peaceful protest we had out here. And I was like, damn, YG's protest.
You're right.
Again, man, you know what I'm saying? YG's protest was the most peaceful protest. That goes to show you there's like, you know what I'm saying? When the right cause is behind it, it's gonna be peaceful. There's no need for all that extra shit. But when you put the wrong people behind it, trying to show off that they're not racist, oh, that's when all the
Oh
crazy stuff
no, for
happens.
sure.
Like
You
you got some racists out here doing stuff for doing some crazy stuff on behalf of colored people. They're not anywhere colored. I'm like, what the hell are y'all doing, bro?
exactly. Yes,
What are y'all
stuff
doing?
stuff is getting weird these days, but everybody's exposing them own selves. It's crazy.
Exactly, exactly. And that's why I
So
just sit back. I'm like, look, your track record is gonna show. At the end of the day, your track record is gonna show.
no, for sure, for sure, for sure. So let's switch gears now. So
hmm
what exactly would you call yourself? A music producer, a recording engineer, a personal engineer? Like, what would you give yourself? I mean, you do so many things. What would you give yourself?
So at this moment, before it used to be just engineer, but as far as like what I'm doing nowadays, I go beyond just engineering. The reason why people call me is for my effects, my vocal production. Like I'll take people's verses and let's say somebody has the first verse done and the second verse done, they're like, man, we need a little bridge. We need a bridge. Cool. I'll go take little words from different verses and hooks and stuff, and I'll create a bridge. So it's getting to the point where I'm starting to make people's bridges for them. I'm starting to rearrange songs and things like that. I'm starting to get in the vocal production side of it. I'm starting to get into the production side of things too.
That's
Um, yeah, it is good. We just got to figure out how to get paid on that side. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I do still get treated as just an engineer. And what an engineer is supposed to go do is just hit the record button, make sure it's recorded well, and then leave. But I do way more than that, like way, 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 way more than that. So it's engineering, vocal producing, I guess. I mean, that's it for now. I don't like producing. Producing is not fun to me. I do produce, like, I'm not gonna lie, when I get emotional, I'll start producing a song, but I just don't like producing for artists like that. I'd rather just produce to get it's almost like therapy for me.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but
I
nobody
can,
will ever hear it.
but it might be a hit though.
Ma-
So
Oh, a lot of people have liked I showed DJ Shantae in Houston some of the work I done, and she was like,
girl,
hey, shout out DJ Shantae. She's like that's the only DJ that supported me in Houston before all this.
what?
DJ Shantae was a fan, and I was like, yo, you're pop. I don't even know why you support me, but I get it now. She saw it
Oh,
before I even did. Thank you, Shantae.
oh, Dillo. You know
Shantae is
I
real.
oh
I
well
mean,
that's
no, I mean, not
no,
saying anything against you, of
I
course.
know. I get it. I just have to say, like, nah, you don't gotta feel like that. I love you, Shawty, for real.
I appreciate you. But
Uh,
yeah, she got to hear some of the beats and she was like, yo, can we do a producer battle with you in it? Blah blah blah. I was like, damn, you really like them? But she's like one of the only people that's heard my beats, besides my like assistants and stuff like that.
right. Okay. So, like, how does that process work when you're trying to like work with different artists, or like, hey, call, like, okay, what happened? Did Gunna say, yo, we need to call up, Dillo for some this or that, or how did it happen? Like, how do you pitch yourself in this industry?
So I never have. I've never ever pitched myself.
List.
Ever. I've never sold myself. I've marketed myself on like IG with like giveaways and stuff like that, but I've never like gone on and told people, like, I don't even tell people my credits. I don't tell them my credits till after we do the work.
Right.
So it's all word of mouth. Everything is word of mouth. It's like I make sure what's the right word? I show off in every session. Like as an engineer, a lot of engineers don't show off. They just sit there and they do the most minimal job just to get their paycheck. And
Right.
it's like, no, you need to do something memorable so that these people are like, hey, can you come back tomorrow? Hey, what are you doing next week? Hey, can we book you for the whole year? Like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it may be, they gotta. So I make sure every session I go into, I do something ridiculous. Whether they like it or not, they're gonna remember me for that ridiculous moment. Whether it be like I do a crazy beat chop or I do something that they like, I do something so spastic to their point, like, oh no, that's too much, too much, too much. But they'll remember, like, hey, that guy has the ability to do way too much. So, it's always just leaving that factor in every session, leaving that memorable moment in every session to the point where people will go talk about you. And that's what has been my whole career. So I did it. The reason I got with YG is because I got called by Tigers, and the same guy who called us during this interview, he called me for a Tiger session. I went out there for a week. He was like, hey man, YG and Tiger are doing a week of sessions. I need you to fill in. So I went over there, and to be honest, when I first got there, they didn't like me. They didn't know who I was and stuff like that. So when I walked up to the YG was standing around the room and he was like, hey, I'm ready to record. And the engineer that was there walked out of the room and go to the restroom. So he was like, I'm ready to record. I'm ready to record. So I was like, okay, cool. This must be my moment. I walked up to the board, and as soon as I put my hand on the board, he was like, hey, blood, who are you? No. Hey, blood, we don't fuck with no randoms. Oh, I'm sorry if I can't cuss. We don't,
Okay.
some randoms over here. No, you can't work on my music. And he literally went around the room and made every single person try to vouch for me. And every single person said, I don't know him. I don't know him. I don't know him. I don't know him. To the point where old somebody in that room that worked with me before even denied me. They were like, oh, I don't know him, just because it was so much tension. So that happened. But then come next day, I was like, okay, cool, respect. I went and stood back in the same corner I was in, and I waited for the next day to come. So next day came around, no engineers were there. It was just me. And YG is like, man, I got to do this verse. Come on, man. Let's see what you got. I guess let's see what you got. So I ended up recording, and I started doing a lot of crazy, like, I was like, this is my
Showing out.
moments. So I started showing out. While he was recording, I started doing some DJs. I started dropping the beat. I started like chopping the beat up in the middle of him recording. And he looked at me. He said, bro, what? He said, bro, nobody does. He said, all right. And so we kept recording, finished it. He went to the restroom. By the time he came back from the restroom after he recorded his verse, I hit play, and he said, yo, stop all this. And I thought I was about to get in trouble. I was like, "Fuck, I'm about to, oh shit, I'm
Yeah.
getting cussed out." He said, yo, all that stuff you just did right there. I was like, oh, you want me to delete it? I started deleting it before he could even say it because I was just trying to be on the ball, right? He said, no, undo all that. All that stuff you just did right there, that's the craziest shit I ever heard. Play that shit. And so I played, he made me play it like 10 times. He was like, bro, you crazy. You're crazy. Tiger came in. Tiger said, hey, bro, you coming tomorrow, right? Hey, you gonna be here tomorrow, right? You gonna be here the next day, right? Blah, blah. So it's like I never mark the way I market myself is with my work. Show out in your work. Your work when they say your work speaks volumes, it speaks volumes.
Let's talk about, your dream collaboration. Like, what would that look like in Chef Dillo's eyes?
Woo. I've been saying I want to work with Beyonce a lot.
Ooh.
Just cause she's the GOAT from Houston. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, again, I might regret it once I get there because Beyonce's a tough client. Beyonce is a professional, so it's like I'm sure the engineer's job is very very hard, very intense, very long hours and stuff. So I might regret it when I get there, but I do want to do it just to experience it. You know what I'm saying?
The
Like
work afterwards gonna be lit though. I ain't gonna lie. I know you. I already know you gonna tear it up.
I want to be able to manipulate her vocals and do all the crazy stuff that people ask me for, and do one of those Beyonce records. Like I'm hoping that's my dream collab. Other than that, it'd probably be I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have dream collabs for. I think all my dream collabs happen. Like I got a Lil Wayne verse. Lil Wayne's my favorite artist ever, and I got like 5 songs with him now. Like
Lit.
Dr. Dre.
Oh, you want to work with Dr. Dre?
That's it. Once that happens, we can call it quits on this career. I can go move on to my next profession.
Dillo, that's dope.
I'm
Like,
not that far either. I'm not that far. It's like it's there.
it's
It's
coming.
like oh yeah, it's like
It could be
three.
tomorrow
I
for
think
you.
I'm like I look at everything in phone calls, so I think it's like 3 phone calls away.
I love that, Dillo.
Yeah.
And speaking of just some cool producers, how was the working with Manny Fresh and working with Scott Storch? Like, I know you was working with Manny Fresh before you left out of Houston, right?
All right. Yeah, I worked with Fresh for like 3, 4 years. It was cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? That somebody we looked up to as an idol. So that was cool. Working with Scott Storch is like is crazy. It's amazing. Like that that man is a different monster. You know what I'm saying? Like I get why he's like I walk into his house. Every time I walk into his house, I look to my left, there's an Eminem plaque up there. You know how many units it sold? The Marshall Mathers album sold 16 million units. So
Wow.
I get to see that every time I walk in his house, and I'm like, if that is an inspiration to go hard, I don't know what is. And that's just one plaque. He's got at least like 100 million on that wall alone that I walk through. And so it's just being around somebody like that, how musically he's super talented. And the main thing he'll tell you when you go into sessions, he's like, I don't know shit about music. He's like, he literally plays by ear. He doesn't know music theory. I mean, he knows chords and stuff like that. He'll knows the scales, but like as far as how he plays music, you'll think he knows everything about music. He doesn't know shit. And he'll tell you, he's like, I don't know shit. I can hear something and play it. And he just plays it very well. And he'll tell you, he's like, if you ask me to replay something, most of the times I can't. It's like I have to sit there and try to rethink it over and try to redo it over. It takes some time. I'm like, dude, you're a real life, like born talented musician.
Right.
And then people love that man. His personality is so cool. Like somebody, if I was him, I'd be an asshole. I ain't gonna lie. I can't even lie. I don't understand how he's not an asshole.
Right. Because
How?
Scott Storch is Scott Storch. Like, I mean,
Scott Storch is Scott, but that man is so humble, so cool, so like man, he's asking me if I want water. If I want, hey, can I go get you a water? Can I go get you a drink? And I'm like, bro, you just got you what? I'm supposed to be giving you water and shit.
No,
Man,
for real.
what a good person. But Fresh is the same way too. Very humble, down to earth people. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's a crazy plateau thing. There's people who are coming up who have these crazy egos, but then once you hit this superstar plateau where you know nobody can mess with you, you become super humble. It's like you don't have any reason to be an asshole to somebody because it's like I am who I am now. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
But that's how people should think, though, but they don't.
They should, but it's tough to in this social media world. You know how it is. Try telling somebody with 1 million followers that they're really not shit, and they'll destroy you. They'll be like, "Oh, I got 1 million followers."
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you're right.
What does
You're
that
right.
mean, though? What
But
does
some
that
people
mean,
are
though?
just very rude and mean, and they should know it sometimes. So,
I
like,
mean, that's where me and you gotta let. That's all. I don't mind letting people know. Hey, hey, you
like you
gotta
don't
stop
have to
all
be
that.
right. You don't have to be like that.
Mm-mm.
So, how were you able to work with Sprint and National Geographic and Microsoft? Like, where did that come from? Those
That
are big brands. Like,
Microsoft came from my internship. When I was an intern, there was a guy who was a magician, and his magic trick had to do. Now, I don't know if I was too young or whatever. He tried to explain the whole trick to me, but it was so complicated that it didn't make sense to me. We recorded like he had this book and he picked certain words out of each page of the book, and it was like a 300-page book, and we recorded all those words that he highlighted. And then I had to like bounce them out and give it to him it's a whole finesse that they did apparently at a Microsoft convention. And so I guess when they gave the book to somebody, the person picked a word that they had highlighted and then they would play it on the audio. And I don't know how they worked the whole technical part of that shit out, but that's what it was. It was a Microsoft gig that I got on my internship for a magician that was doing some crazy magic with audio recording. So just
okay,
so y'all know, they got all sorts of finesses out here with magic. And then the National Geographic commercial, there was a he's known as a world traveler. He's like an explorer for National Geographic. He's a big scientist. He has a huge science laboratory in San Diego, I believe. His name is Albert Lin.
okay.
And the craziest part of that gig is that came from Google. They had this. I was working in this hood ass studio in off off 610 off 610 in Alameda. If anybody knows that little area, that's a little hood ass spot, right? They had this National Geographic. This scientist, his flight got delayed in Houston because he had a layover flight. It got delayed in Houston. He had to finish this commercial. So National Geographic got on Google search and they searched Houston studios in this area where his flight was in, and we were number one on Google.
Wow.
So he pulled up because he didn't like me at first. He was scared of it was like this Asian explorer dude. Like you could tell he had money, and they brought him to this hood ass spot. And there's bullet holes in my shit. There's like bullet holes everywhere. There's bullet holes in my car and everything. And he's like, "Where the hell did National Geographic just send me? Like, what the hell kind of situation am I in? I'm a world renowned scientist. What the hell is this?" So you could tell he didn't like the situation, but he came in. He did his thing. I was very professional. I was like, yes sir, yes ma'am, very southern type things. And then he saw me work, and his whole attitude changed. He was like,
Right.
man, you're really good at what you do. Like, you're very professional. And like, he was, I'm not gonna lie, when I first came in, I thought this was gonna be terrible, but the way you're doing your work and the way I sound, and I've never heard my voice sound so good and stuff. I was like, he loved it. And he left, and they gave me $100 tip too. That's what's
Like,
crazy.
we love
What?
tips.
We loved it.
The money. But no,
Yeah.
that's lit. Like, I mean,
So that came from Google, and I turned a bad situation into a really good situation. Like that guy's a famous world explorer. Like he's all over TV. He came to do a National Geographic and Sprint commercial where they were doing like a big giveaway for the next big scientist kid in the world, and
lit.
that came from Google, and I got the gig just because I treated the man like a normal human being. I didn't and I did good work, and he loved it. he was like, man, you're young and you love he was like, you're just as passionate as me in what I do. And I cure diseases and I go and research the world and whatnot. And you're just on a computer, but you show the same amount of passion as I do. And I was like, yeah, because I love what I do, just like you.
Exactly, exactly. I love that. Oh, Dillo. Okay, I got about a few more questions and then I promise you we're done.
I
Sorry.
love this.
No, what are some of your favorite producers like or engineers or mixers? Like who are some people that you'd be like, man, like they're lit other than the people you've already worked with?
Um, there's a guy that nobody knows because he sucks at social media and he doesn't do social media and he's like one of those old guys. He's just so popping that he doesn't have to do any of that. There's a guy named Nick Servin out here. What's his name? Servin Ganea, I think is his full name. We know him as Serb. Like,
Okay.
dude is like one of the most legendary mixing it. He makes 24 karat magic, Bruno Mars. He makes like all the mega hits, this fool has touched it. You just don't know him because he's off the map. And I want to be like him because his checks are probably stupid. And
No.
then on top of that, he doesn't have to do social media. He doesn't have to talk to nobody. He doesn't have to do like, you know what I'm saying? He just like, he's living his life. We don't even know. I don't know his story. I don't know who the hell he is. I just know he's one of the greatest mixers on the earth. It's like
Right.
he keeps that to himself. So that's a guy. As far as producers I want to work with, I think Ryan Leslie is a fire. Like,
Ooh. I seen a video of him going ham one time.
which
Oh,
one? Where he was produced, he was like multi instrumentalist in the
yes,
studio, playing all the keys, playing the drums, playing all the.
yes.
I look up to Ryan Leslie's like one of my not only do I look up to him as a musician, but like the way he dresses, his style, his whole everything is like a mysterious persona to him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm the type of guy, I love suits. I love like blazers. I love dressing up. That's just how I was. And so if I could be kind of like him in the sense of like, you know what I'm saying, helicopters and private jets and just real exclusive. Oh yeah, that's the end goal. And if I could collab with that man, that'd be huge.
Oh, I love it. Okay. Out of all the celebrities that you have met, like what was like the best moment other than that YG moment? What was like one of the moments that were like, man, like this is what I'm gonna be doing for life?
Diddy. We could drop that one. We could drop it. We could
Right.
use it. Just
Okay.
because you asked the question, it's Diddy.
Okay. 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 We ain't gonna get
We
too deep into it.
yeah, we're not gonna get it too deep into it, but when I saw Diddy, that's when I knew it's all possible. Everything is possible. It's just
Okay.
when you meet a human like that, you're just like, oh, the moon is the end goal. You know what I'm saying? There's no limit
No limit. No
because
limit.
he doesn't put a limit on anything he does, and he's reached everything. So it's like, oh yeah, I don't, and he'll tell you too. Dude came up to me, he's like, yeah, there's no limits on you. Go to the moon, kid. And so that's all it took.
I
Once
mean,
he said that, it was over for me.
I would love for Diddy to tell me, no limits for you. You're going somewhere.
To the point where I got shoulder bumped by Diddy shoulder bumped the shit out of me because I did such a good job on YG's album. Apparently, what yeah.
Hello, I'm so proud of you. Okay. This is my last question, okay?
Okay.
What would you tell somebody that's young and trying to get it, that got a situation exactly like yours, where the family just don't approve of that lifestyle? What would you tell them, or what would you even tell the students that want to be in this industry, or people period? What would you tell somebody?
It'd probably be two things. First thing is follow your gut. Second thing is don't let any opportunity pass you up.
Period.
That's it. First thing is follow your gut. Second thing is don't let the opportunity pass you up.
Okay. And when you say don't
Cause
let the opportunity pass you up, that means take everything.
everything. Cause
Just,
when somebody calls you, especially you engineers out there, when somebody calls you for a gig, You stop what you're doing. I don't care if you're with your girlfriend, your mom, your dad. If you're not a poppin' anybody, if somebody calls you, you drop everything you're doing. If you really want to be a superstar, if you really want to become an engineer and somebody that runs his own brand and do what I do, you need to drop everything you're doing and
Dillo, who calling now? This is so lit. Who called now? I promise we're
sorry, YG's manager. YG YG's manager is blowing me up. Um,
okay. Look, we're done. I promise.
no,
You
no, no, but I want to say what I gotta say. Just make sure you take every opportunity you can take, and don't let anything pass you up, because you don't know if they're gonna ever call you again.
for sure. You right. You right. You right. Okay. Well, Dillo, thank you so much for being just patient with me and wanting to tell your story. And I know we didn't hit everything, but this is gonna start a conversation for the next, in the next, and maybe
Understood.
one day I can FaceTime you with my students and they can actually see what a real recording studio looks like. That'll be
Any
dope.
anytime.
Okay.
Anytime. We can do a whole live and whatnot. Matter of fact, I'm planning on doing something like that right now. I'm gonna be doing live streams and things like that with the whole Twitch thing. So I might start uploading my sessions. I just gotta get these celebrities to clear it, make sure they're okay with it.
Well, please keep me focused. I mean, focus. Please keep me updated on that. Please. Okay. Please.
Got you.
Willow, you
Got you.
are amazing. Thank you
Yes, ma'am.
so
I
much.
got you. 4.0. No, thank you. Thank you for reaching out and caring about the little guys. You know what I'm saying? Because we still look at the end of the day, we're still just Dillo, just little old Dillo. We work for celebrities and whatnot, but we still little old Dillo. It should change.
All right now. All right. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. But thank you so much. You enjoy the rest of your day until YG and Tiger's producer and engineer or whoever. Thank you for allowing me to have you for an hour.
Of course, I will. I got when you come out here, you're gonna meet all of them.
Wow. Can't wait for it. Can't wait for it. But thank you, Dillo. I pray nothing but
Yes, ma'am.
happiness and success on your life, and you enjoy the rest of your day.